Welcome, and happy Monday, everybody. Hope everybody had a great weekend. It's supposed to be 106 with 44% humidity today. It's kind of like Florida. It's supposed to get even hotter tomorrow. It's supposed to be like 108. So, um, listing success rate. Let's just jump right into that and show you what's going on. That means you listed your house. Did you sell it? That's simply what it is. And right now, a third of you are not. 30% of you are listing your house, and it's just you give up. You got to take it off, and that's what's going on right there, down to 70.4%. One of the reasons behind that, we've talked about it, and I keep charting it right here. This is weekly sales, and weekly sales are absolutely. There's my favorite YouTube name out there. They're flat. They're 2,800. 7-day moving average, and the number of listings, new listings that are coming on, they're still not going up. Now, this chart will remain the same until over Labor Day weekend, and then both those numbers are going to dip, and then we're going to have to wait a week for them to shake out. But this number is definitely what's driving the market right now. And when you look at the effect on months of supply, it looks really alarming, but we're still below 4, but we're getting up to 3.1. And you've always heard in real estate land that a normal market months of supply is 4 to 6 months. But I think that's probably true if you don't have such low sales like we have now. So I think this is kind of subnormal at this point. Sales are so slow that things are just sitting out there, and you have homes taking quite a bit longer to sell. I'm meeting a photographer this morning up in Tempe. We're going to shoot this townhome, and it's a nice place. They completely remodeled it, and I was very honest, and she goes, "Well, what do you think of our price?" And I go, "Well, we'll find out." It's all I can tell you. Because right now, with 30% of you not succeeding in selling your house, it seems like not the end of the world, but nobody's listing their homes now. And I did a survey here on the channel. 62% of you said you're not listing because you're sitting on a low interest rate. Now, I had a comment from last night's video talking about, while everybody's talking about demographics, they have to understand that the baby boomers now, the leading age of the baby boomers is 76 this year, and they're going to be selling their houses as they either downsize or move into assisted living or the inevitable. And that's called the silver tsunami. Now, I'm towards kind of like the middle end of baby boomer life. And do I look like I'm going into assisted living anytime soon? So I don't see that affecting house prices or listings over the next 2 to 5 years. Now, after that, yeah, there's probably going to be a glut of homes, but like anything else, our kids don't like our homes. So I don't know if they're going to want to buy them or not, or they're just going to tear them down. Saw a quote once says, "Everybody wants my money. Nobody wants my china." Here is the listings right here. Today we have 19,000. They're tracking as of last Saturday, this past Saturday, 17,778. I don't know why our numbers don't match up. I look and count what's under contract, and then I also add in back on market. And I suspect they're not adding in the back on market. So anyway, you can see we have flattened out, and it just looks, everything that we're seeing is hitting this plateau, and we're probably going to muddle along there for a while. And here's the average list price. So if you've listed your home up here in March and April prices, then you're way off, because this is where you're going to have to be. You're very close to have to be at 2021 levels if you stand any chance of selling your home. There's one more thing I wanted to look at too. And when we look at months of supply, I want to go ahead and put in the dreaded year of 2007, since people want to hark back to then. Let's see, there's 17 months right there. So it's a long march up to get to that number, and we're not even close. Oh, before I get going, I'm looking out there and I see a lot of you don't have your Rick Helps Real Estate mug or your pug mug. Yes, I have a merch store, so check it out down below. I got some cool Arizona flag stuff there too. Enough selling stuff. So the demand and supply index is a chart that I like to look at now, and it's the red line being demand, and it's below normal. See, the yellow shaded area here is normal, and then the blue is supply, and they still haven't met yet on the index. I'm waiting for them to meet and cross, because then when you start building that gap like here, prices come down even faster. Right now, prices coming down are not coming down at a very alarming rate as far as close prices. The list prices are certainly coming down. How long until comps bring most sellers back to reality? Well, it takes, you got to get the pug mug. It takes, they go back and look 3 months, but I think you don't really need comps to tell you, that your home isn't selling. I mean, if you're on the market 30 days and you don't have an offer, that's not really the end of the world yet, because it takes about 30 to 40 days now. But if you're sitting out there past that, it's obvious you need to make a pricing adjustment. The sellers, the buyers right now, and I mentioned this the other day, they just will not, and I don't blame them, will not offer you list price no matter where you sit. You can price yours the lowest price in your city, and they're going to come in and go below your list price, just because the feeling is that prices are going to continue to go down. And so why pay list price now? So you have to be prepared for that when you list. A lot of realtors are getting yelled at now by their clients. How come you haven't brought me a buyer? I'm not budging off this price. I'm lower than anybody else in the neighborhood. Look, folks, if buyers aren't out there, they're not out there. We can't go pick them up in our cars and force them to come over to your place. So if they're not there, they're not there. It's like when I used to sell bread, and they'd say, Rick, you had a bad week. Well, they either shop or they don't. I mean, I don't know what I can do. Faded Channel here says, I think private sellers are too proud to adjust their price, and new builds are negotiating, in some cases giving up to $50K for closing, buying down interest rates. The new builders are not lowering their base price yet, though. They're offering more incentives, but the base price, they're going to stick to that like glue for as long as they can. I think there's pride and there's convenience. So a lot of people are saying, well, I was thinking of selling. I'm going to put it on the market. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to give everything away, which is really kind of a unique situation. You've got this perceived equity out there that we feel like goes right in our wallet. But if nobody offers you that price, you don't have that equity. The other thing too is that people are staying put. And I've read the comments that say, well, once they get in their negative situation, they're going to have to sell. No, they don't. You can sit there with your house being worth $50,000 less than what you owe. You're still fine. You just keep making the payment. You ride it out, because if you go to sell, you're going to have to write a $50,000 check on top of your fees. So who's going to sell just because they're upside down? Nobody. So they're only going to sell if they have to, if they've lost their job and they can't make the payment. But we're seeing some trends too, where families are kind of starting to move in together to assist with expenses, because rent is so stinking high. And so the other thing we're seeing now too, and the title sounds like it's a big deal, but we're seeing more adjustable rate mortgages out there. And according to home mortgage data from 2021, ARMs these days are generally going to borrowers making bigger down payments on more expensive homes, rather than buyers who can't afford a home on a 30-year fixed rate loan, who may be at risk of foreclosure down the line. So what they're saying, and this is some data that's coming out by Zillow, is that most of the adjustable rate mortgages now are 3-year or 10-year notes, and they can afford the reset. In other words, they qualify for, let's say, 5.5%, but they're paying 4.5% for a few years. If it goes to 5.5%, it's not going to knock them out of the saddle. Whereas back in 2007, people were borrowing with interest-only loans, or loans that were 1% for 2 years, and then it went to the prevailing rate back then, which was, believe it or not, 7%. So you're sitting on a anywhere from $600 to $800 a month payment, and all of a sudden it's $1,600. They had to leave. They walked away from them. They will walk away from the house if they're too upside down in their house. I don't think so. I've been way upside down in my house. I didn't leave it. Where are you going to go? I mean, why walk away if you have negative equity? You still have a roof over your head. You're still paying down the principal. You're not renting. You're getting the tax deduct. Now, I'm not preaching here, say go buy, but I'm saying people are not going to walk away from their house simply because it's upside down. There's no incentive to do that. They're just going to say, well, this stinks. I kind of compared it to a 401k the other day that said, if you look at your 401k and you say it's performing badly, do you close it? That's it. I'm out of here. I'm leaving it. Because even if you walk away, your house you owe a balance of $400,000 and it's worth $380,000. Well, in a couple of years, you're going to be down to $375,000 on your principal anyway. So it's worth just staying home. I think I just don't see people bailing on their homes anytime soon. Now, I had a video come out last night about the Fed chairman talking about we're going to feel some pain. And he's pretty much ruled out that he's going to pivot. People were thinking that he would, rates would come up and he'd pivot before the end of the year, or at least before the election. He made it very clear in a short 8-minute speech that he'll have no part of that. He's not going to do that. And he said they're going to keep raising rates and leave them up until the job is done. Now, this is a challenging time for them, folks, because we've got so much government spending that is contrary to what the central bank is trying to achieve that I don't know how they're going to get this done. And I don't know how long we're going to be sitting in a high rate scenario. And Sheldon says they may also do the buy and bail, where they buy a new house for less, walk away. They did that a lot back in 2007. I saw that. Actually, the house we bought as a foreclosure in Fountain Hills was one of those buy and bails. But again, the lending standards are a little tighter. You'll see maybe some of that, but I kind of doubt it. Dad's 86 and still pulls his tabby to Greer. He's not selling. I'll assume and rent it. Yeah. The trouble in reality land for sure. I think the Federal Reserve is definitely stating that they're going to raise rates and keep them there until we consistently get at 2%. But there's also unintended consequences that could pop up between now and them achieving their target that may force them to come down. Could have some credit issues. As much as I don't like to predict long term, I think it's safe to say the rest of this year and 2023 are going to be a very tough year for sellers. Indeed. There are some opportunities for buyers, and we're seeing it now. Pat and I met with a nice couple talking about timing. They do I want to get a new build? Do I want to get a resale home? Where do you think market is? And one of the things we kept stressing was get a home that you like, that you want to live in. And if you buy it today and it goes down 20,000 in 6 months, don't worry about it. If it goes up, great. But don't try to find that exact month of when to buy, because in the resale market right now, and I say resale compared to new construction, we're starting to see some deals. There are some people that after 45 days, they're going, I got to sell this. You got to lower it. When we picked one up in Chandler, I'm going to the inspection today. I can't believe how low they went. It was, I think, $164 a square foot. Beautiful home, 3,900 square feet, has a home theater. They called us back and said, hey, can you go this price? I don't know. Let me ask. We'll see. And sure enough, we went that price. The open door home also have an inspection there today. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. I think it'll go fine, but we got them way down too. So I don't know. There's some more and more bargains coming out there if you keep your head in the game. I had my home sold on a contingency. They couldn't sell, so I'm back on. Giving the changes, is it okay to cancel listing? It's been about, well, that's up to you. You can cancel a listing at any time. We're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing more cancellations. People are, well, can't sell it. I guess I tried, and they're getting out. We're not seeing as many coming soons either. They're down about 200. That coming soon fad and that trend that was perpetuated by the 3-day people works very well when the market's brisk, because now you get to see this listing that's coming. ooh, get prepared for it. It's going to hit the market on Friday. And now you can put up coming soon. People are just going to ignore it. Well, I'll just wait till it comes on, and and then I'll see how long it sits, and then I'll swoop in with my offer. I'll get in there and lowball them, doggone it. The Open Door, I'm told, is getting tons and tons of offers. And but I'd love to see the numbers. I got a feeling everybody's going, let's pull them down another 50. So they're sorting through all these papers, all these offers. They're very, very busy. We are seeing a lot of mortgage companies go belly up simply because they had so much refinancing revenue, and that party's over. So they didn't have enough capital to survive, so they're going belly up. Title companies are very slow. And we had a major title company in the valley here lay off something like 57 people last week. Another one last month had a Zoom call and axed 100 people in several states because it's all volume driven and it's slow. We're going to have a lot of shakeout. We're going to have a lot of shakeout in real estate agents. And the bottom line is what we're going through right now is the market is eventually going to hit some kind of a very comfortable balanced point where prices are attainable, rates are good, and buyers have the opportunity to go out and purchase without tripping over people. So I firmly believe that's coming. I don't know when. And when we watch these numbers, remember, I was looking at those listings saying, I think we're going to hit a listing ceiling where people that felt like they have to sell are there. And by golly, we've done that. We've gone up to that peak and we're staying right there. And I've looked at it nationally, and that's not unique to Phoenix. It's happening across the country. The listings are coming on, and that's it. They're staying there. So nobody's going into panic mode and selling all their homes. So hope everybody has a great Monday and take on the rest of the week. And I got a video coming out maybe this week. I'm going into a deep dive on our water situation. So stay tuned. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. Take care.